We promised to grow old together in moments that felt too ordinary to ever break. It wasn't a dramatic vow spoken under fireworks or recorded in photographs. It was whispered during late nights, during quiet walks, during laughter that echoed through small rooms filled with hope. Those promises lived in simple gestures, shared meals, unfinished conversations, and the comfort of knowing someone would always be there at the end of the day. We planned a future as if it were guaranteed. We spoke about growing older side by side, about watching time change us without pulling us apart. I believed love was built on consistency, on choosing each other even when life became heavy. Every smile felt like proof, every reassurance felt permanent. I trusted you with the parts of me I never showed the world. The days passed gently then. Even silence between us felt safe. I never questioned your words because they carried warmth, and your presence felt like home. I believed loyalty was invisible because it didn't need to be proven. Love, I thought, was steady and quiet, not something that disappeared without warning. There were signs, maybe, but love taught me to ignore them. Small distractions, distant replies, moments when your eyes looked elsewhere. I told myself every relationship had phases, that growing together also meant growing tired sometimes. I chose understanding over doubt, faith over fear. I built my world around the idea of us. Every future decision included you without hesitation. I imagined wrinkles, shared memories, and stories we would tell about how we survived everything together. I never imagined surviving without you. What I didn't know then was that while I was holding on to promises, fate was standing quietly in the background, watching without interference. And while I was planning forever, you were already walking toward a different direction, leaving me unaware that everything I trusted was slowly slipping away. The change didn't arrive loudly. It came quietly, disguised as busyness and tiredness. Conversations shortened. Laughter faded faster than before. You were still there, but something about you felt unreachable, like standing behind a closed door I wasn't allowed to open anymore. I noticed how your attention drifted. How your words became careful, measured, almost rehearsed. You smiled, but it didn't reach the same depth. I blamed myself first. Maybe I wasn't enough. Maybe love simply required more patience than I had. I tried harder. I listened more. I ignored the ache growing in my chest every time you felt emotionally absent. I told myself love meant endurance, that commitment wasn't about comfort but about staying even when things felt uncertain. There were moments when I almost asked the questions I was afraid of. Moments when silence screamed louder than truth. But fear stopped me. Fear of hearing answers that could destroy everything I believed in. So I stayed quiet, hoping closeness would return on its own. You spoke about stress, about needing space, about feeling overwhelmed. I understood, or at least I pretended to. I gave you room, not realizing that space was already filled by someone else. I trusted you because love had taught me that trust was non-negotiable. The nights felt longer. I lay awake replaying conversations, searching for reassurance in old memories. I held on to who you used to be, not who you were becoming. I didn't know that distance isn't always accidental. Sometimes, it's chosen. And while I waited for us to find our way back, fate continued to watch silently as the gap between us grew wider, preparing me for a truth I wasn't ready to face. The truth didn't come with anger. It came with stillness. A moment so quiet it felt unreal. I didn't scream or cry right away. I just felt something inside me break, like a promise collapsing under its own weight. I learned you had given your attention, your words, your emotional presence to someone else. Not by accident. Not by confusion. But by choice. While I was holding on to memories, you were creating new ones without me. What hurt most wasn't just the betrayal, it was the realization that I had been faithful to a future you had already abandoned. Every reassurance replayed in my mind, now hollow and fragile. Every promise felt like a lie I had trusted too deeply. You said it didn't mean anything. That it happened slowly. That you never meant to hurt me. But betrayal doesn't measure pain by intention. It measures it by impact. And the impact left me standing alone with questions that had no answers. I wondered when you stopped choosing me. When love turned into convenience. When loyalty became optional. I searched for the moment everything changed, but betrayal doesn't announce itself. It hides behind familiarity. I felt invisible, replaceable, as if years of love could be undone quietly, without consequence. I mourned not just you, but the version of myself that believed in forever without hesitation. Fate didn't intervene. It never does. It simply watched as the truth settled into my bones, heavy and irreversible, leaving me to carry the weight of memories that no longer belonged to both of us. Walking away wasn't immediate. Healing rarely is. I carried the pain with me for a long time, learning how to breathe around it. Some days were heavier than others, but slowly, I began to understand that staying would have cost me more than leaving. I stopped asking why. Not because it stopped hurting, but because I realized some answers only reopen wounds. I accepted that love without loyalty isn't love, it's illusion. And illusions, no matter how beautiful, eventually fade. I learned to sit with my memories without letting them define me. They were real, even if the ending was broken. I allowed myself to grieve what I lost without blaming myself for trusting deeply. Loving fully was never my mistake. I rebuilt quietly, without announcements, without revenge. I focused on becoming someone who no longer begged for honesty or fought for attention. I chose peace over explanation, dignity over desperation. Sometimes I still remember the promises. Not with longing, but with clarity. We didn't grow old together, but we taught each other something important. You taught me how betrayal feels. And I taught myself how strength is born from loss. Fate may have watched silently, but I didn't remain silent forever. I chose to walk forward, carrying memories without letting them chain me to the past. And in that choice, I found something stronger than broken promises. I found myself.